Hello everybody, it's Amber with Chiloquin Unique Creations. I am making a base to put all of these soaps, scraps and shavings into there. And these are all really good soap. These are just what I plane off the sides to kind of even out the sides and give it a smoother appearance. So we have the Good Medicine soap, we have the Sauvage soap, the lavender soap, the Indian sandalwood soap, the pine tar soap, the cool water soap in here. And so it's very herbal. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scent my base with the Energizing Blend from Nature's Garden. If you haven't checked them out, you should. They got okay fragrances. Sometimes they're a really good hit and sometimes they're not. Read the reviews. So in here, we have our avocado oil, castor oil, coconut oil, olive oil, pomace, palm oil, and just a little bit of steric acid. And then as my super fat, I have some shea butter in here. We're doing this at about a 33% water. And I will leave the percentages for the oils in the description, and you can then determine how much water you want to use in your lye concentration. I'll also leave a link to the soap calculator. So what I have right here is some Kaolin Clay, and we're going to incorporate that to have a little bit of a harder bar, also to give a little bit of detoxifying effects. And we're going to blend. This is just the oils right now. And so we're going to blend this Kaolin Clay into the oils before we add the lye. Also, my shea butter is a bit chunky, but this immersion blender will be able to blend those chunks out. Okay, so now that the shea butter and the Kaolin Clay has been incorporated, we're going to get our lye solution. See, the very same one that I showed you. And we're going to incorporate the lye solution into the oils. We're not pouring the oils into the lye solution. Everything is 100 degrees or below by now. I'm sure this lye solution is probably about 80 degrees. So, oils are a little bit hotter than my lye. They're within that 10 degrees ratio, so we're okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour this in and then begin to emulsify it. And you see how I'm tilting my spoon away from me and I'm pouring my lye into my spoon. That way I can direct the lye water away from my body. So this will be an actual very conditioning soap. So there's 5% super fats in this batter, but the other soaps are anywhere from 8 to 10% super fatted. So we have quite a bit of conditioning factors going on. They held up really well. They're a nice hard bar of soap, so I'm not really worried about it. So before I stick blend, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make them meet. And this is going to sound really funny, but we are kind of like forcing a marriage. So we're going to make them kind of get to know each other real quick. They're saying hello, mingling. Mingle away. And then we're going to throw them into the ceremony and join them forever. sounds really silly, but that's kind of like how you got to think about it, is that you need them to really become one. The sodium hydroxide does not remain after this process, and the oils do not remain besides what is the superfat, which is the extra oil that the lye cannot convert to soap. So we are forcing them to chemically change and become something totally different than what they naturally are. So as you can see, I have plastic, and it's all been sprayed down with alcohol. And so we're going to just set this here because I'm going to throw it away after I'm done. And now we're going to force them to get to know each other. No more drinks. Now we're just going straight to the ideas. Do not lift your immersion blender once you have sunk it. You're going to kind of tap it to the side, let the air bubbles come out, and then you're going to keep it submerged below the surface of your soap. So how you can tell if you're at a light trace is that if your drips will sit on the surface at all. It's a really, really light trace. I'm going to go just a touch more. Just a touch. Okay. And that's good for that. And I'm not going to color this because honestly there are so many colors of all these different soaps and I really want them to shine. I don't really want to cancel any out. So now I'm taking my fragrance oil in the mason jar I showed you. For my recipe, it's 5 ounces of this fragrance oil. And it's like a grapefruit and lemongrass and other citrus notes, which I think will pair very nicely with the more spicy, herbal, and a bit musky fragrances of this. So now I'm going to give it a quick stir. Get that fragrance oil below the surface. I'm going to give it a quick blend. And I don't want to be a thick trace. I want to be at like a medium trace. And you're going to have to figure out what a medium is because it's really like you can see the stream, but it's not solid on top. Or the streak. The drips, whatever you want to call them. And that looks good to me. That's a medium. So what would happen if I went any faster, then I might end up with more air bubbles because this would be more set up when I'm putting it into my mold. And I want it kind of liquidy so that it'll sink between all of these pieces. It'll settle and create a nice, hopefully, pocketless, air pocketless soap. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start adding these in, and I'm going to have to work kind of fast because when you take it past the light trace, you're on borrowed time. And so I could have like cooked all these down in what is called rebatching, but they're so ugly. Rebatch soaps are just so ugly. You can add all kinds of crazy things to them. It's a long, long cure time. This is actually 1, more economical, 2, more time friendly, and way more frequent. can, just working my little soap chunks down there. And so what I'm going to do is, if this does not absolutely cover the top, say these soap chunks fill it up too much, it's going to be okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a second smaller batch of soap to put over it. And now I think we might be okay. I think it'll be fine if they're sticking out the top too. Kind of a fun little thing. Because these are different soaps. They're not like your perfect soaps. These are more of waste not, want not soaps, while still being artesian. So now I'm going to start pouring it in. And I pour it about halfway, because like I said, if these don't fill it up all the way, it's okay. I kind of figure I probably have to make a second batch. Oh, that's so cool looking. I don't get to do these enough because it takes quite a bit of shavings. And bang it around. Maybe. No, we'll just do it this way. We'll go with what I planned. Or maybe we'll just keep them small. Yeah, I think we're going to make another layer of soap. And I think that top layer I'm going to do as a color. Or maybe a few colors. Rainbowish. Could be fun. Or maybe like red and black. Or just want to make them kind of as even as you can. That looks pretty close. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wash all this and start again, but I'm going to be probably halving my recipe. These are a little more than halfway full. And if we have extra, we can actually pipe some of it. Although I'm not really sure if we'll have extra, because there won't be any soap shavings in the other half. So, path of discovery in the creation of things. Sometimes they go exactly as you thought, and sometimes they don't. And you gotta just roll with it. Have a plan B. My plan B was to make another smaller batch to fill these all the way up. So I think that's actually gonna be awesome, because we'll have like a layer of something going on top. This is another half batch of that soap base. Except that I did add some titanium dioxide to this to whiten it up a little bit. This will be more of like a cream color. And this one I want to be able to actually do a red, orange, and blue. Hopefully it's blue. We don't really know until we do it. And I've never used this mica in soap before. So we will see what this color comes out to be. I'm going to go ahead, give it a blend to blend up the Kaolin Clay and the titanium dioxide. And you'll notice that I did not clean my immersion blender because there's no point. It is the same base. So. Just making sure all that titanium dioxide and Kaolin Clay is broken up and incorporated with the oil. I'm going to go ahead and begin adding my lye to this water. Again, I'm going to pour into my spoon and angle it away from myself. So this container that I'm mixing all of my soap into, I actually got at a place called Cash and Carry. It's a restaurant supply store. Pretty awesome place to get bulk oils. Well, some oils. Got to make sure you pay attention to what the ingredients are of your oil. Do not buy blended oils, because there's really no way of knowing how much of whatever oil is what you're pouring. So, again, we're going to make a mingle. Oh, I guess I don't even need this. It'll be fine. Make a mingle. And this one we're going to just try to take to a light trace. And you'll notice I don't have to blend as much because there's just less oils. Okay, we're at the trace. We're going to put our fragrances in. Alright, and that's good for now. We're going to move kind of fast though, because we are actually going to have to blend again as well to incorporate our colors. Okay, so now I'm going to divide it up into these four. I do want to have a little bit of white, and I'll explain why I want a little bit of this white.
Already getting warm on me, so. Okay, I'm trying to scrape your containers, good. Running out of time. It's pretty warm already. So, here's the little measuring spoons come in. I'm going to start with my lightest color, and then I'm going to move into my darkest color. About a quarter of a teaspoon. Getting kind of low in my red. Here's the new mica we're going to test out.
Woo! You did not see that.
Alright, and again, from lightest to darkest. Oh, I think we're going to need more of that though. To be kind of vibrant since we're going with color at all, right? This is not all I'm doing. I'm just getting it down so it doesn't try to splash out when I blend it. Once we blend it, we're going to go kind of fast. It's already starting to kind of set up on me. I can hear all the other soap makers. Hurry up! Oh yeah, it's setting up. That's pretty blue. We're not done with this spatula. We're going to use it again, but from the lightest to darkest, we don't have to do our white. So the closer,
or the more we blend, the closer we're creating that bond between the alkali and the fat. Which is why you see it getting thick fast. Oops.
Alright, and that's it for blending it.
Because we're going to be doing a bit of a swirl on the top, this bit of color that's getting into each one is fine.
Alright, so now, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to jiggle it down. Safe to say that that fragrance oil accelerates it a bit. One definitely has more than the other. That's fine. Give it a quick little stir. Get this down. Will this be a fail video? That will be interesting. Can't ever do anything the easy way. Yeah. Let's cut that out. This doesn't make any sense to you, but it makes sense in a moment. So our white is going to be our negative space to make it stand out a little bit more.
Alright, so what we got here, some chopsticks. And we're gonna just kind of, first of all, let's pound it down. And I'm using the chopsticks together to drag more of the colors across. And we'll give it a smack down again.
I can see air pockets coming up, which is the one problem with doing these shavings like this. I'm gonna mute.
Okay, back with my chopsticks again. Working pretty fast right now. Alright, and I'm going to bring you guys closer so you can see. I'm going to go ahead and gather up all of this first, and then I will clean up my edges and be able to show you a closer look of what this is like. What can happen when things don't go according as planned. So here is the finished soaps, and all I did was clean up my rim just so that I don't have a lot of hang off when I'm going to cut. And they're kind of shiny because I did give them a spritz of alcohol to help minimize soda ash. Just because it did accelerate on me because of the fragrance oil, we may get some soda ash from it. So, no harm, no foul. There's ways to fix that too. But this is what it is. So this was originally going to be what a lot of people would throw away, which is their soap scraps. Got to use our soap scraps, which is better for the environment because we are not wasting. So it's not bad soap. It's not like garbage soap or anything. It is literally just repurposing our scraps. And our scraps are still delicious, great soap. And I actually used to sell my scraps by themselves. And people bought them. So, yeah, this is it. So watch out for air bubbles if you're going to do this. Maybe chop them down smaller than I did. Don't waste good bars of soap though trying to do this. You will accumulate enough scraps to do this a few times. So stay tuned for the cut, and we will see what these came out looking like.